Anyway, so yeah, bugs. We released a video. Jace released a video last week about the bug site, which we just talked about a little bit, I guess. And I thought it was a good time to talk a little bit more, or go into that a little bit. And if you guys have any questions, because there's a few questions in the comments of that video where we could be like, we could reply to them, but maybe it's better to just do a big sweep and do them here. but here's the, like, what's the word? The recap essentially of that video. You should check it out, by the way, because I think it's a video that I've wanted us to do for a long time, because it kind of encapsulates a lot of questions that we get here on the stream as well. And it kind of sums up a lot of stuff with, like, how, in regards to how we track the bugs and what they actually, like, what the implication is when a bug is reported or a feedback has been, like, when we get feedback and stuff. Because we do have our question site, questions.satisfactorygame.com. That's the best place for people to give us any feedback to the game, report any bugs, you know. And usually we usually just ask people to go there instead of asking us to mail us and stuff like that, because it really is the best way to have everything in one place, so we can get a better understanding of what's going on.
Yep. It also has certain other features like upvoting, commenting, replying, and closing, and those sort of features are sort of important too. And if you were to contrast to things like Steam, that gets a bit rough. Also, not everyone who plays Satisfactory has Steam. You could look at Discord. At least in the past, Discord was no good because chat just keeps moving. Obviously, there are threads and forums now, but then those still lack certain features like upvoting, status updates, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah. The QA, and not only that, not everyone has Discord. So, like, instead we just have its own standalone thing. Yeah.
And like we've had that site since we launched the game. I think since we launched the game, did we make the site before or after?
Before, I believe. I believe we had it during the closed alpha.
So there's been a lot of stuff reported there, and there's also obviously a lot of stuff that's been reported there that still hasn't been fixed in the game. And I really and that can be really confusing for you guys, because it's like, why have this bug not been fixed? It's like such an old bug. And we sort of talk about that in the video, where there's a lot of different aspects as to why certain bugs haven't been prioritized.
Yeah, and my goal for this. So first of all, one thing I want to say is that there were some people in the comments who were saying things like, and because the thing is, you guys might have known, but like a couple weeks ago on stream, I had like a little bit of a rant or a chat or a talk actually on this topic, because I've been thinking about this topic for quite a while, and someone asked a specific question and I went into a bit of extra detail. It's probably on the QA, the questions channel, the Satisfactory stream archive channel that Marv makes. And that's like, because I've been thinking about this for quite some time. And some people said at that time, and also in the comments of the video, not many people, but some people said it, that it's sad that we had to make this video, or that, like, don't listen to the haters, or it's a shame that they felt that they had to make this video. But like, it really, this video was not made out of a reaction to any level of toxicity or haters, so to speak. I don't think that people giving feedback, even if it's negative feedback, I don't think they're haters. They're people who care about the game, and they're giving their feedback. Of course, there are haters as well, but I'm not making videos based on those people. The reason that I made the video is, like, this issue, so to speak, or it's not an issue, it's just a phenomenon, I suppose, of, like, people who don't understand the developers' sort of perspective of things and what the process is like. If they don't really understand, they come to incorrect conclusions about how things sort of work. And this is something that has been happening since day one of us launching of this game, and it's something that happens for all developers in every community, everywhere, always. And so, like, I just thought it would just be an interesting thing to actually just try shed some light on, to get our perspective out there, hopefully educate some people so that they might know, at the very least, that that you can understand, oh, this is why in certain games developers might be struggling with this certain thing, or why they approach things in a certain way. And the other hope was that I was hoping that, like, other developers might, if they see it, they might be like, hey, maybe I can have that conversation with my community as well. So, like, even though it's not, I guess it's not like, it's not like, I guess it's not a cheery conversation. I mean, it was to me, because I thought it was interesting. But I guess you could say it's a negative thing to talk about. I don't think it is. It's just part of the process. In the same way that we've talked about other processes before, like game design or tech art or 3D art or whatever. Like, this is the same kind of thing. This is a crucial part of game development. It's got nothing to do with this community. I mean, we have it easier than most communities because y'all are actually, quite frankly, better than most communities. So this wasn't made out of reaction to anyone or anything. I also think
that there's a lot of necessity for this type of communication regardless, because we're in early access, and I think it's also important to kind of communicate what early access means, because the early access like staple or whatever is very different from game to game. And I think it's also very important to communicate that, you know, this is how we anticipate working on a game in early access. So like you mentioned in the video, you know, like there are bugs, but we try to find that balance between where the game is playable and it doesn't crash for everyone, but we're still working on it, and we can't focus on like fixing every single thing between every update, because then the development would become very stale, and we'd be stuck in early access for forever. So like communicating sort of that also ties into being in early access, and I think that video does a good job at like sort of explaining that thing as well. I've tried to like sneak it in some of the videos that I've made for the Update 7 release videos, where like, you know, we are in early access and there are certain aspects of that. So I think, you know, when it comes to how we prioritize things, but also like the frustration from you guys, and like we've seen this for so long, and it's hard for you guys to know, you know, when a bug is part of like a bigger system down the line, or when like a bug is actually just like we just haven't gotten around to it, essentially. Like, I'm sure there are a lot of bugs that are quick and easy to fix that have been in there forever. Maybe the one you had in the thumbnail, the Blade Runners. Yes, maybe that is an easy fix. But we still need to like devote time to be like, okay, let's look into this issue, and maybe that it turns into like something bigger. And if that was already...
And the other thing is, I think there might be work planned around attachment systems in the future, which is why we don't want to go into it now, because it's not hurting anyone. And if we're going to rework attachment systems in the future, then let's just do it then.
So it is. There's like many aspects to that, and I think when people just see it as like, oh, there's been a bug that's been recorded for a long time and you haven't fixed it, that means that you haven't done anything. But I mean, it's easy to see it that way. But I think it's important to realize that, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, especially in an early access title, when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I also want to highlight some various kind of sentiments that I also notice in the comments. And I'm not saying these sentiments are the majority sentiment or anything like that. They're just different viewpoints that I would like to just kind of address so that we can just talk about it. That's it. I don't think I need to. I just think it's interesting. I actually really think it's interesting. So the first thing is, like, there are some people who have said, and rightly so, because I've seen this said about other games in early access as well, are you just using early access as a scapegoat? Just call it what it is. This is just full release and it's buggy or something like that. You're just getting away with it because it's early access. And on the other side of that, we also have people saying like, no, you're in early access. You should be able to just dump buggy shit on us and that's fine. So it's interesting that we get that entire spectrum of feedback, right? And where we feel land on this is, first of all, there's no one in the studio right now who would 1.0 means the game is complete, or, you know, it's a feature complete game, and there is no one at the office right now who would, even if every single bug was magically fixed, no one in the office would say that we have a feature complete game. This is just simply not our vision of Satisfactory as it is right now. There's other things that need to be done. So that's one reason why we're still in early access, because we do not consider Satisfactory to be feature complete. The bugs don't really matter, really, in that determination. Now, because we're in early access, that means we can just give you buggy games. I mean, we just don't feel like that's fair either. Like, we care about you guys having a good time, and when you like pay us money, we want to ensure that that there's a minimum level of quality that you guys are getting, and so that's important for us. Another thing that I noticed as well is a lot of people, first of all, were praising us for our communication. And we get this a lot, actually, from you guys. So first of all, thank you very much for those kind words. It actually makes me feel really good as a community manager, since that's literally my craft. And to hear you guys say that about my work is very, very, very good. So I really appreciate that. But then I hear other people saying like, other devs need to learn, or other devs are bad at this because they don't communicate. The thing to sort of notice is like, I don't actually know if we're necessarily very good at what we do or not, or if it's just that we're one of the few people who do what we do. I think, as Snutt always says, it's a low bar, which is fairly true. But like, one thing to understand is this is not for no reason. Other developers who don't communicate with their communities aren't doing it out of malice. It's just it's a scary thing to do. It's a risky thing to do, and a lot of people just don't know how to do it. Game developers, they're programmers, they're artists, right? Like, they're not necessarily people who know how to communicate to an entire audience effectively. And so like, I would sort of just say, like, try and understand that aspect of things a little bit. Just know that, like, that's actually a really scary thing to do. And it's we should be a little understanding of other developers when they're too afraid or don't feel comfortable to do it. Having said that, though, I do encourage developers to try this. It is one of my goals as a community manager, and it has been since literally day -30. It has been my goal to try and humanize developers and humanize communities, and to try and make that communication something that can happen and that we don't have to be too afraid of. It's a give and take on both sides. Developers need to be willing to open up, and communities need to be willing to understand, and vice versa too. So yeah, there's a reason why the industry is the way it is, but it can change, and hopefully folks start taking that chance and start looking into ways that they can change it.
It is also like a huge undertaking if you want to have like a open bi-directional communication thingy. So like, maybe companies feel that it's too much effort, but I don't think it is. I think just doing.
Yeah.
I think the idea is that either you do it like full out or you don't do it at all, maybe. But it could also be that the developers that I see or the games that I follow, maybe I'm just not like into the community enough to realize that maybe they are doing that. Maybe I'm just like not seeing it.
Yeah, it could be. But, could be. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm. I don't know. I don't see it as something that's super, super hard. Like, I don't see myself as someone who's like particularly good at this. I'm just willing to try it. That's the only thing. And so like, I really encourage other developers out there to give it a go. I think it seems scarier than it is.
It is definitely.
And I think everyone's going to be better off for it. Like, we get so much support and assistance from you guys, and freedom to do more things because you guys trust us, and you trust us because we're open with you.
It might be a thing where there's not too much like general knowledge on how to do it. Like, you don't really see. Sometimes I'm always like, I wonder how other studios do it, and then I don't have a good example, and then I'm like, all right, guess I won't try because I can't find like a good example of how to do it. Like, maybe that's also the mindset a little bit, because there aren't that many that do it that way.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's that kind of energy that goes behind videos like the Bugs and Satisfactory one, where I think it's just really interesting to have that conversation. And clearly, so many people appreciated it.
And I kind of hope that this video...
Marius! Random mod sends a message in the chat. Literally easiest Twitch chat to moderate in the world.
Though, it is really true. You guys are so... We barely do anything
actually good
with
community.
Our Twitch chat. Like, we don't need to do anything at all. I was going to say... shit! Marius got me off track.
I'm sorry.
No, so what I really hope too with that video is that, that I think that's a video that can stand sort of, it's going to be relevant even if we were to develop this game for 10 more years or whatever, that video will still be relevant then, because that's how we work and that's how we prioritize bugs. And whenever people, like new people come in and ask this question over again, like that video is going to exist and they're going to be able to reference that, because I don't think we're going to change too much in like, I guess the state of the bug, like the question side might be different from now and then, but like overall, like all the info in that video is just how we work and how we prioritize things, and I hope that lives on.
So if if you thought it was interesting, or if you have other friends who are in, you know, early access game dev communities, or just play games at all, whatever. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I really tried to script the video to be something that's applicable to any game out there, and any early access game out there. And also, if you're a developer, I don't know, like, maybe share this with your developer buddies. I was really hoping that this video would get out there, and hopefully inspire some people to make some changes so that everyone can start benefiting, so that communities can relax more and feel more at ease, and so that developers can have better relationship with their communities. So,
for sure.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I was really proud of the video. It worked out really well.
I'm also proud of the video, even though I didn't do anything on it. No, but I just like that, because we usually when we make videos, we sometimes communicate back and forth, sort of like what should go in the video and stuff like that. And this is a video that I've also wanted us to do for a long time, and I love that you managed to encapsulate like every single point that I wanted to bring in that video, and I didn't even to do anything. My job is really easy.
Yeah, easy. Good one. Good job.
I think
Snutt.
I should take all the credit, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm
actually,
the idea guy.
yeah, actually, you made the video. Yeah.
Actually, I came up with it first. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's very good. All right. So with that, unless there's something you guys have questions about on that video specifically, or anything else you want to bring up?
Yeah, we're going to get to Q&A at the end for general Q&A, but are there any specific questions to that topic or that video?
Then we will be happy. We will happily ignore you guys or just pretend. Sometimes I see comments where like, I can't believe they haven't answered my question, and that's the only thing I see from that particular person.
Yeah, I've never seen that name before. Yeah.
I only care about the ratio of my factory input and output. Fair enough.
Show the shirt. Here, is it the shirt?
Oh yeah, that shirt is sick. Is that shirt available on? Because
I don't know if this shirt's actually available anymore, and maybe, I'm not sure. You have to go to lizarddoggo.com and take a look.
Like, we used to have partnership with For Fans by Fans, but they closed their store or something.
Yeah, and Good Smile. Yeah, and I think we may have gotten some of those designs, and maybe we can re-release them on lizarddoggo.com. I'm not sure. I don't know what the situation is. So
no, that one is actually available on lizarddoggo.com. Yeah,
it is. There you go.
So shameless plug in the middle of everything.
Would you hire such contract out the QA site improvement since the person left? Yeah, we may look for someone. And now I know I say that everyone's gonna reach out. Please just
we have
do whatever you want. I guess. Yeah, there's the coffeestain.com, coffeestainstudios.com/jobs. There's an open application. If you're a web dev and you're involved, send in your application there.
Because if you DM us, we're just going to say, go to that site.
Yeah. We're just going to say, go to that site. Do not DM us about this. We are community managers. We live stream and make shitty videos. Okay? We can't hire you. Okay?
I also spend 90% of my job telling people that ask me questions about Goat Sim that we don't work at that game. That's the majority of my size.
I mean, I think Coffee North had to deal with that when Satisfactory was a thing. Probably. A lot of people were going to them and saying, "Hey, yeah." So